Hi, it's Paul Anderson. I'm from Bozeman, Montana. I'm an educational consultant. I was a science teacher for 20 years. And Aaron asked me to put together this video because we were in Boulder this spring. Got to visit my friend Paul Strode and the science teachers at Fairview High School. And then we spent a day doing a workshop kind of around NGSS. And you probably weren't there. So it was a small room, and so sorry that we missed you. I wanted to summarize a little bit of the points that I was trying to make that day. For the last 9 years, I've been working with schools around the world who are implementing NGSS, both globally and in the States, and Boulder was one of those that we visited last May. I'm very excited about your Advance the NGSS initiative, that you're kind of revisiting those standards. I mean, it's years after they were actually created. I'm a big proponent for NGSS. One of the reasons I love the NGSS is they're, I think, more fair in the classroom. When I was a science teacher, the kids that did well in my class are the ones who could really process what I was saying, read the book, and keep up. And as I started to do more modeling instruction and phenomena, I found that I engaged more of my students, and kids that were kind of lost in the past started to be more engaged. And so I think it's a more equitable way to teach our science classes. I also found that the phenomena just work. This idea of phenomena is sometimes glanced over, but if you give kids a compelling phenomena, you're probably not even listening to me now, you're just watching this ink. Kids will engage, and it's way better to start with a phenomena than starting with just a lecture about intermolecular forces and then using this as a demo. You just put the students in the position of scientists and have them wonder and create models of their own. If I'm teaching biology, that could be just looking at deer that are different than deer that they might normally kind of understand. That's a way to get to genes and proteins and how they lead to phenotypes. And even out the window in Boulder, which is gorgeous, the flat irons, I think we all know what the flat irons probably are, but did you know that there are flat irons everywhere else around the planet? And you could look at similarities and differences of those, and it'd help you understand a little bit more about the geology and how it works. I also believe that NGSS and the three-dimensional learning is required now. The assessments are getting deeper. I've written a bunch of assessments of my own, and even looking at the assessments that Colorado has put out, they're more rigorous. They're not just factual recall or memorizing a lot of information. You have to apply it. And the standards are three-dimensional as well. And so schools that I work with, that really backward design. Let's look at the standard, now let's build assessments, and now let's do the teaching. Well, it requires you to learn a new type of teaching. How do I teach models? How do I teach systems? How do I teach students to create their own models? And so it's a really, I think the next 100 years of education will be a fun way to dig into this thinking about science and the actual doing of science versus the last 100 years, which has just been a lot of memorization. And then I'm a big proponent of NGSS because I don't feel like they kill the wonder. This is our website, The Wonder of Science, and I chose this child looking at a plant growing inside some glass because I think kids are just naturally intrigued by wonder. How does this work? And if we tell them how it works before they get a chance to inquire, they kind of squash that wonder. And you get them in high school, just all they care about are the points, or all they care about is the grade. And so I'd encourage you to check out our website. Everything there is Creative Commons free to use, but there's a bunch of assessments and mini lessons and phenomena that will hopefully help you as you kind of go along this journey. One thing I've been working on this summer is a set of mindsets. I think it's something that's missing from the NGSS. How do we think about the science that we're doing more explicitly? And so these are kind of my 4 different types of growth mindsets. One that I think will help you is this one, the curiosity versus skeptical mindset. I tried to come up with these 8 mindsets, and they're all positive. None of them are negative, but they depend on the context. And so when you're learning something new, if you feel like you could learn something new from NGSS and three-dimensional learning, I would encourage you to take a curiosity mindset. If you just are skeptical, and there are times as a scientist or a science teacher you need to be skeptical, if you're skeptical, you'll be questioning new things, but you'll never learn any new things. And so the cards are set up so you could look on the back. And these are some indicators. I would use these with students, but I think they work for teachers as well. So I want you to value the unknown, ask thought-provoking questions, engage in the inquiry, seek out new learning. And if you explore, inquire, you can discover new things. And so I think that's kind of hinting at the importance or the future of education. Let's not just talk about the science that we need to learn, but the thinking and the mindsets that we need to have. And also, I think at this time of the year, the most important thing is that you just have a wonderful year. The fall is something that I miss as a consultant because you can recreate your class however you want. So I hope you have a wonderful year, and thanks for watching, and I hope that was helpful.